Students, how are you all? I hope you are all doing well. I have met you in the last week. We have studied part 1 in the lesson Understanding Development, Perspectives, Measurement, and Sustainability. Today, we are going to study the second part of that lesson, that is Sustainability of Development. What do you mean by sustainability? That is Nilai That is, we have to use the natural resources available without damaging our environment, and also we have to leave some resources available for future generation. That is only called as sustainability. Okay, we can use natural resource, we should not over exhaust that, and we have to leave something for future. We should not destroy or damage our environment. That is only called as sustainability. Okay, so today we are going to learn about sustainability of development policies for sustainable development and environmental policies in India. As I said already, sustainability means without damaging the environment, to make the resources available for future generation. Sustainable economic development is taken to mean development without damaging the environment and not compromising with the needs of the future generation. Okay, not compromising with the needs of future generation. When we overuse any of the resource, that may lead to environmental degradation. What is environmental degradation? The quality of environment may be decreased. It is not only degrading our country or our state, we are totally destroying the earth, we can say. This sustainability of development is comparatively a new area of knowledge in which scientists, economists, philosophers, and social scientists are working together. When we talk about natural resources, what is it? The resources which are available in nature. It can be divided into two types. One is renewable resource and the other one is non-renewable resource. What do you mean by renewable resource? Renewable resources are the resources which can be regained after use. That is only called as replenishable. For example, solar energy. What do you mean by non-renewable resource? After use, we cannot regain or we cannot get back those resources. That is called as non-replenishable. Example like coal, petroleum. Why it is said so? Because it will take millions of years to form these minerals. So here, groundwater is an example of a renewable resource. Okay, groundwater is an example of a renewable resource. You may ask how sustainable development is possible if the resources are overused rather than replenished. Non-renewable resources get exhausted after certain time, since it is not possible to regain. To achieve real sustainability, we have to balance this economic, social, and environmental sustainability in equal harmony. Okay, here you can see a box. Do you know? They have given about the literacy rate of Tamil Nadu. Literacy rate of Tamil Nadu is the second highest among the southern states. What do you mean by southern states of India? Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. So which state stands first? Kerala stands first. Next comes Tamil Nadu. But Tamil Nadu has higher literacy rate than the national average. Okay. The enrollment for higher education in Tamil Nadu is the highest in India. So, in general, the question of development or progress is continuous, we can say. Okay. At all times, as a member of society, as an individual, we need to ask where we want to go, what we wish to become, and what our goals are. Here you can see a tabular column. In that, we can find the literacy rate of southern places like Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, and also even Uttar Pradesh is given. Okay, literacy rate, sex ratio, and enrollment in higher education. What about the literacy rate as per 2011 census? In Andhra Pradesh, it was 67.02 percentage, Karnataka 75.36 percentage, and in Kerala 94 percentage, in Gujarat 78.03 percentage, in Uttar Pradesh 69.72 percentage, in Tamil Nadu it was 80.09 percentage. What about the literacy rate of India as per 2011 census? 74.04. The next one is sex ratio. What do you mean by sex ratio? How will they calculate? They'll calculate per thousand male how many female are there. Okay, per thousand males how many females are there. That is only sex ratio. In Andhra Pradesh, it was 993, Karnataka 973. Only in Kerala, the women outnumber men. That is 1084. Okay, out of 1000 or for 1000 male, 1084 women were there. In Gujarat, 919. In Uttar Pradesh, 912. In Tamil Nadu, 996. In total, India, 943. How many of them were enrolled in higher education during 2015-16? In Andhra Pradesh, 30.8 percentage. In Karnataka, 26.1 percentage. In Kerala, 30.8 percentage. In Gujarat, 20.7 percentage. In Uttar Pradesh, 24.5 percentage. In Tamil Nadu, 44.3 percentage. And in whole India, 24.5 percentage. Now let us see what are the difference. See, the picture is given here about that renewable resource and non-renewable resources, and what about the water level in our places. Now let us study about the differences between the renewable and non-renewable resources. When we say renewable resources, I told you already it can be regained, okay, or replenishable. Whereas non-renewable resource, they are non-replenishable or it cannot be regained. When we use this renewable resource, it is pollution free and also it will help, it is considered as environmental friendly. Whereas the non-renewable resource, it will pollute the environment. And third one, renewable resource take a less time to get back or renew. Whereas non-renewable resource, I told you already, it will take millions of years for the formation. Renewable resources example, solar energy, wind energy, water, wood, paper. Non-renewable resources, metals, glass, fossil fuels, maybe like coal, petroleum, natural gas, and diesel. Next, we are going to see about the policies for sustainable development. That is, we have to use that non-conventional sources of energy. What is that non-conventional sources of energy? That is renewable sources of energy. Why we have to use that renewable sources of energy? Because I told you already, when we use that, it will not pollute the environment. It will not create any adverse impact on environment. Okay. India depends mainly on thermal energy and also on hydropower energy. Both these sources have their environmental impact. Thermal power plants emit large quantities of carbon dioxide. Okay, what is the main drawback? It will emit carbon dioxide in the large quantity. It is not good for the environment. It will pollute the environment. So, next they are telling about the solar power. Solar power is nothing but energy generated from sunlight is called as solar energy. How can they generate that electricity from sunlight? It may be directly, that is either directly using photovoltaic cells, or they may use that concentrated solar power using lens or something, and they'll be focusing the solar energy into a particular place and generate the electricity. So it can produce a large quantity of electricity which may be used for various purposes, whether it is for house or for office, etc. etc. In all the places we can use this solar energy. You can see the picture of that solar power panel here. Okay, this is the solar power panel, how they will use that. Okay, so these solar panels are installed by home and business owners in order to reduce the electricity cost. We can say it develops a lot in India. Okay, it is the developing industry in India. Tamil Nadu is the state with the highest installed solar capacity in India. As on 31st July 2017, the solar energy produced by Tamil Nadu. What was the solar energy produced by Tamil Nadu? That is 1697 megawatt. Okay, 1697 megawatt of solar energy is produced in Tamil Nadu. Next, we are going to see about the environmental policies in India. What do you mean by this? These are to protect our environment. We all know very well we have a lot of problems in our environment. It is damaged due to various emissions of greenhouse gases. So, in order to protect, they evolved various policies. They have covered a wide range of issues such as air, water pollution, waste management, and biodiversity conservation. India faces challenges in economic development, which has to be achieved with limited resources, minimum externalities, and in the presence of an uncertain climate. I think you know our climate is not a certain or predictable, it is varying. Okay, so the Supreme Court of India has interpreted and introduced a new change or new changes in environmental protection through a series of directions and judgments. Article 51A G of the Constitution states or tells that it shall be the duty of every citizen of India. Okay, what is it? It is the duty of every citizen of India. It is not the duty of the government or only the leaders, but all the citizens of India must take part in that. What they have to do? To protect, and they have to improve the natural environment. How they can improve the natural environment? Like forestation, that is including forests. They may clean up the lakes, rivers, and wildlife. and to have compassion for living creatures. Okay, they have to show some compassion towards all the living creatures. Development increases the quality of life. That is, the people will have higher income, better education, better health and nutrition, less poverty. What is less poverty? That is, the income may be high, the poverty or poor condition of the people may be less. Sorry, and more equality of opportunity. Here they have given various acts introduced by India in order to protect our environment. They are National Green Tribunal Act 2010, Biological Diversity Act 2002, the Environment Act 1986, Forest Conservation Act in 1980, Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act in 1974, Wildlife Protection Act in 1972. These are established or enacted to protect or to take some actions like environmental protection, conservation of forests and other natural resources, conservation of biological diversity, providing for the protection and the improvement of environment, checking deforestation and encouraging afforestation. It provides maintenance and restoration and quality of all types of surface and groundwater, providing protection to wild animals and birds, etc. Thank you, students.